Good evening and welcome to the Public Global. Today we'll be discussing why India is bending backwards to US. India has cut tariff on 30 products including luxury car and bikes before PM's US trip, which is slated to be from 12th to 14th of February 2025. Amid Trump tariff threats, India cuts import duty on American bikes and cars. This is the latest news. In a bid to counter President Donald Trump's growing tariff action, the government has already reduced tariffs on several items. In a bid to counter President Donald Trump's growing tariff actions, the government has already reduced tariffs on several items, including high-end bikes, cars, chemicals in the latest budget, while imposing additional agricultural infrastructure development cess and alternative tariff on many items. India's budget cut import duties on premium motorcycles and luxury cars, easing US trade tension, but with Canada, Mexico, and China fighting back with retaliatory tariffs, this move could spark major global ripples effect because Canada did not relent, China did not relent, Mexico did not relent, even Colombia did not relent. They didn't want their immigration, people who were caught in illegal immigration to come in handcuffs. While India, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar said it's been a policy since 2012 that any immigrant caught on the border, crossing the border, violating the immigration laws will be handcuffed and sent, and they are going to devise a new immigration policy for the Indians who are living abroad. Now, is this not bending than what it is? India planned to lower tariffs and gradually remove extra import levies as local manufacturing strengthens. A finance ministry official said that means that we have taken a U-turn from our policy. Before we were giving protectionist policies to our domestic industry. The Make in India tiger was dependent on imports from China. What will happen to those companies? What will happen to the solar companies who are importing modules, who are importing connectors, who are importing, various kind of items and assembling and selling them either in domestically or exporting them? For them, it's a death knell. It's a death knell for the PLI, performance linked incentives for 26 industries. It's a death knell for the domestic industries because you are reducing import duties from American products, which will be competing in Indian markets. And more or less, it will also be competing with the Chinese import, which we already have allowed to come into the country. Ahead of the Modi's US visit, which is slated to be from 12th and 14th, it is also being said a new defense deal is going to be, will be done. And President Trump wants India to buy F-35 Stealer planes. We are already under a debt of 205 lakh crores. How much of more debt will the Modi government incur on the people of India? You remember in his famous speech in 2013, when he was fighting for his first Lok Sabha victory, the BJP was fighting for his first Lok Sabha term. He said 15 lakh rupees will be credited to each and every Indian's account. It seems now 30 lakh rupees will be debited from your account with interest, with the kind of debt India has. And we are borrowing every year to service only interest payment. I don't see any way in which we will be able to service our, principal payment back. So if you see the budget this year, we have a budget whereas we are borrowing 15 lakh crore rupees just to service our debts. This is where the inside story is. And to reach 5 trillion economy, we will take not just 5 years or 7 years, it might take 15 to 20 years the way we are going. Ahead of Modi's US visit, India has cut tariff on 8,500 goods and pledged to accept illegal migrants while keeping the dollar for trade. We have said we are not part of BRICS. The US is a preferred currency. We will not be going for BRICS money. We will not be going for BRICS currency. The crude which we are importing from Russia probably will no longer be available. And the new crude policy from Iraq or from Saudi Arabia will increase our crude cost also. Whether it will be translated to the cost to the customer is yet to be seen. But the Indian government is bending over to give lay a red carpet for Trump in America. What a human right violation this is when our people are handcuffed and sent. And then your own NSA, the National Security Advisor, Ajit Doval, cannot go to US because he has been implicated by the Five Eyes countries for the murder of Harjit Singh Nijjar in British Columbia in Canada. And he was also made responsible for giving a killing order through Nikhil Gupta for Guru Patwant Singh Pannu. And Guru Patwant Singh Pannu, being a US citizen and a Canadian citizen, he went to the US court and got an indictment against people who are responsible for the security and safety, internal and external security of the country. Today, Adani has an indictment against him. Today, Canadian government is indicting the Home Minister for the murder of Harjit Singh Nijjar. Today, India's national security is at risk because Ajit Doval has also been made an accused in the plot to murder Gurpatwant Singh Pannu. So, what kind of foreign policy are we talking about? India's finance secretary said that the government message to Indian business was clear. Don't get into protectionist mode. The changes mean India's average tariff was now 10.66%, down from 11.65%, says S.K. Agarwal from CBIT&C. Pratik Jain, a partner of the PricewaterhouseCoopers India, said tariff changes were the first major overhaul by India and were very important both for simplification and in light of changing new geopolitical equation. What geopolitical equation? When you have dearth of crude, you go to Russia. When you need to make your Make in India tiger and make Atmanirbhar Bharat, then you need China for imports. And today, you want to change your geopolitical equation because you see Trump coming in. You were not expecting him to come in, and suddenly you got late to, kind of align with him. And now you want to spend taxpayer money to make him happy. Is this wise for India's foreign policy or external policy or for the financial health of the country? This is the question we must ask ourselves. The government has clearly chosen not to use tariff as a protectionist tool despite the increasing geopolitical headwinds to this effect. He said, India thus remains keen to be a more integral part of global supply chain. What kind of global supply chain are you talking about? This global supply chain is with the Asian countries. Are we becoming another banana republic? Are we going the North Korea way? Are we fearing sanctions from America? Are we doing something illegal? That's the question which needs to be asked. And also the question need to be asked is that the list of 18,000 people who are illegally immigrant are staying in US. How many of them belong to Gujarat? Is there a pressure on Prime Minister Modi to take them back? Why is he trying to please Donald Trump? You must ask him. Finance Secretary Tuhin Kanta Pandey said in an interview on Sunday that India wants to shed its image of being a protectionist country. We have no intentions to replace the dollar as a currency, Pandey said. Also, we don't align with China on the BRICS currency. However, India has been part of BRICS. India has been part of Quad 4. And Joe Biden had clearly said that Quad 4 is formulated to regulate and to stop China from growing as a superpower. And that's what the agenda was. Now, it seems that India is taking Quad 4 more seriously than it is taking BRICS. And the initial advantage that India would have got in terms of a supply chain, being part of the supply chain management with China and Russia, I think we have missed the bus. And giving way to the Zionist policies of Trump and Netanyahu, we've also gone behind our separate land for Palestine that we have been advocating for last 40 years. Today, Donald Trump has the audacity to say that Palestine will become a US colony. The US is going to take over the Gaza Strip and is going to redevelop. And he's asking all Palestinians to move out of the country. And Netanyahu is saying that we will provide sea, air, and land route for any Palestine who wants to leave Gaza. Is India ready to compromise with America in making these thousands of children and women homeless? The kind of, catastrophe building up, the kind of human, damage to the human life by displacing them will happen. Will India be responsible for it? Does India take responsibility for it? Do we have blood in our hands? We must ask this question. India's neo-colonial dependence on US is again proved by 2025 budget that slashed peak tariff from 150% to 70% amidst Trump's diktat, stamping India as a tariff abuser. To convince US, India has prepared a fact sheet showing import duties on key 30 US items are below 7.5%. Can you believe it? On key 30 items, we are below 7.5%. The Indian budget on Saturday slashed basic custom duties on several items, including luxury cars, solar cells, and machinery. The peak import tariff has been cut from 150 to 70%, and average tariff to below 11% from 13%, while an alternative tariff called the Agricultural Infrastructure Development Cess has been raised on certain items. Where would this cess be used? We don't know. Where did the education cess go? We don't know. Where did the petroleum cess go? We don't know. So this cess will also be used for a different purpose that we don't know. After reducing peak import tariff, India has reduced a special list of 32, introduced a special list of 32 items, including luxury cars and chemicals, up on which the AIDC tariff of 5 to 70% has been imposed. Earlier, these were zero AIDC tariff on these items. Luxury cars with a CIF, which is cost, insurance, and freight value exceeding $40,000, attract a surcharge of 40%. This is clearly promoting Tesla cars into India. Chinese cars have taken over Tesla. In Western Europe, Norway has 93% penetration of BYD and other manufacturers from China. And so as to contain the Chinese presence into India, Tesla would be allowed to bring in their cars at 40%, reduce custom duties from 70%. Transport vehicles and used motor vehicles face an AIDC tariff of 20% and 67.5% respectively. If you remember, used car import was about 120%. So it will be competing with the domestic markets. A lot of manufacturers have already left the bus, have already left India. Ford has gone, Mitsubishi has gone, Nissan has gone, and now you will see more companies going away from here. You'll be depending on imports. So we will be manufacturing nothing but importing everything. So yachts and sports vessel attract a surcharge of 7.5%. You know who imports yachts and sports vessel, not a medium or a low middle class income group. Solar cells, modules, and other semiconductor devices attract a surcharge of 7.5% to 20%, on top of a reduced import tariff of 20%, down from 25 to 40%. Chemicals, laboratory chemicals now face a reduced basic custom duty of 70%, down from 150%, along with an agricultural cess of 70%. Building material, marble, granite, and slabs attract a surcharge of 20%, on top of 20% basic custom duties, and down from 40%. Household items, footwear, and materials for manufacturing them face a surcharge of 18.5%, while items like bicycle attract surcharge of 15% after a reduced basic custom duties of 20%. Home furniture items, smart electricity meters, electronic toys, parts attract the surcharge of 5 to 20%. So where would the domestic industry go? You want to set up a logistic park for toys. You want to set up manufacturing for shoes. You want to set up manufacturing for textiles, finished goods. But here you're reducing import duties, and Indian industry will again competing with American products, which will be imported from Indonesia, Vietnam, and other South Asian countries, manufactured there, stamped by America, sold in India. So you can very clearly imagine where India is heading. So it's a complete disaster what we are planning in terms of a fiscal deficit, in terms of our loans. We are not able to repay our previous loans, and more loans will be taken to buy new defense equipments. New defense deals will be done. New defense policy will be made against an unknown enemy. The enemy lies within, and poverty is the biggest enemy. Jobs, not getting jobs are the bigger enemy. Not getting your daily wages is a bigger enemy. Not getting your daily essential supplies like medicine is an enemy, bigger enemy. Not getting basic primary education for children is a bigger enemy. We need to address the elephant in the room. But government, in trying to protect its own government, has lost the model of governance. I hope you like the program for today. It's a serious issue. Please write in the comment box how you feel about it. Until next Tuesday, goodbye for now. Thank you for watching us.